Welcome to Mr. Sleeter's neighborhood. Come with me down the path of discovery while I talk with several industry leaders and innovators who are changing the state of the art in accounting technology. So I want to move the conversation a little bit towards your practice. So talk about this practice that you've been in and what is it that you do, what's your specialty, that sort of thing.
Well, originally I used to say that I was an IT consultant because I was that dual track, did a little bit of both. And, this was right after the .com bomb.
Right.
So it was still kind of sexy to be that IT person and the IT consultant. Then I went to Leadership Academy for the AICPA, and that really turned me around. So I really started to see the value of identifying myself as a CPA.
Yes.
And now as a CPA that specializes in IT.
I see.
So that's really...
So you got the CITP credential.
And I got that credential as well,
Right.
To start to be able to differentiate myself from the others, why should I hire you, right?
Right, of course. So, and your firm now, how big is your firm? What do you do? Where are you located? What kinds of clients do you serve?
Sure. Our firm is, so we're 13 years old. I like to say we're a small firm, but we're growing a little bit. So I think we're at 10. Well, actually, as of this week, we're at 12, I think. Primarily based in Hawaii. That's where we work with a lot of our small business clients.
Right.
But we also work with bunch of mid-markets there. But we also nationally have a presence also with the mid-markets, with growing companies, and then with nonprofits. So kind of work a little bit of regional and a little bit of national.
I see. And you have made the firm IT and accounting, but not tax. So it's a CPA firm, but it's on the sort of the accounting and IT stuff.
Yeah. And that's kind of the differentiation where we re-identified as a CPA,
right? And
then identified ourselves as a CPA firm, meaning that we follow methodology, that we have that structure. And I actually found that was a differentiator. Yeah. That was when I was going up against the other IT firms.
Right.
They'd be like, well, why should we work with you? And I'm like, because you're getting the accounting and you're getting a little bit of tax.
That's right.
And you're getting all this other knowledge, and you know that I'm a certified professional and you can trust me compared to how do you know you can trust your IT person?
Right. Well, and also I assume when you compare your services to a typical tax firm, you really differentiate there.
Yeah.
You're not just about the tax. So do you collaborate with these other firms and share clients, if you will?
Yeah. That actually I think is one of the keys to our success. We are not completely exclusionary.
Right.
We have differentiated ourselves and created this niche, this vertical where then we're not competing with the other firms.
Right.
So I can go to all the other firms, and we have partnerships with especially the larger firms in Hawaii.
Right.
Where they're like, yeah, we'll bring you in because we know you're not going to try and steal our client. Right. And we know you have this expertise.
All right.
That either we will sub to you and bring you on to, for example, an audit and use this as their IT audit arm. Or they're like, this client really needs your help. Can you help them look at these issues that we've identified?
So I think that's critical because maybe in the past, firms would want to own clients, right? But with all the technology changes, the fast pace of the new world, I think what you're doing is critical, is to start thinking about it as a collaborative effort to serve clients with your skill sets and their skill sets. And you more vertical you can be, the better off you are in that sense. You can really give them what they're asking for.
I like to think of it now as sort of the general contractor model. The firms, and I think firms have to choose.
Right.
So they're either going to be this specialist and you're going to do this thing.
Right.
And, we could even do the tax world and say you're a salt specialist. You're doing state and local.
Yeah.
Or you could be doing all these other services, but somebody needs to be here along the top and really pull it all together.
Right.
To make sure that, hey, you know what, this is definitely some type of transfer tax issue.
Right.
So we need to pull a tax specialist in.
Right.
Or it's an IT issue.
And IT or business process of one type or another. Yeah. So technology is just changing lightning speed now. It seems to just get faster and faster.
Right.
How do you personally keep up? And then how do you make sure your clients are are adopting these new things that we probably both agree they better start adopting, or they'll be out of business in some cases.
So I keep up by actually leveraging social media in a sense. So I've connected through getting involved at the national level with the other experts in their own areas.
Right.
So for example, my expertise is probably more about what we would call business solutions.
Right.
What are the applications that work with the data that help produce whatever business result?
Right.
Compared to IT security.
Right.
Compared to the infrastructure, which is going to be more of your hardware and platform software.
Right. Right.
Compared to whatever else it is. So I've connected with all of these people on social media. I sit in their conference sessions when we go to the conferences and really look at, what are they telling us that we really need to do, and then leverage their expertise.
Yeah. So the cloud, I mean, it was inevitable I was going to start asking you about the cloud, because that's just the topic now, right? So what is your opinion about how quickly the technology is going versus how quickly the profession is embracing it and adopting it and evangelizing it, if you will, to their clients? And then also talk about the clients and how they're adopting it. So who's ahead here? Is it real, or is it still just going to go real slow?
I actually think it's still going to go pretty slow. So we've seen through your own survey that the businesses want to move faster.
Yeah.
Accounting as a profession, we're a little bit behind in that adoption.
Right.
But when you actually look at us compared to probably all of the other professions except maybe medicine.
Right.
And the only reason I would say medicine's ahead is because it's been mandated by the government.
That's right.
Otherwise, they were brought kicking and screaming to that.
Yeah. Right.
But if you look at social media, if you look at the use of cloud adoption within practice, if you look at the perspective on it, the accounting profession is actually ahead of a lot of the other professions.
It really is. I think it is too. And and for good reason, I think, because what we essentially do is a collaborative effort between I do services, my clients do a piece of it, right? We're sharing data all the time,
right?
Because it's about the data.
Right.
And so if it's in their office in jail, we can't get to it.
Yeah.
So it's compelling to bring data to a place where we can both access it. Yeah. And the cloud is that.
Well, but I think you're hitting on one of two probably key areas that's kind of holding us up, I think, in cloud adoption. So data is going to be one, because now to integrate, it is a little easier, but it's also a lot harder, because now it's not all sitting on servers in my same office where I can just pull stuff together.
Yeah.
I have to figure out how do I safely get data out from all of these different cloud systems, which a lot of the vendors have, in a sense, hold your data hostage because they don't want you to be able to leave easily. And so you don't have that direct access to the tables or things that you would have before. Yeah. The second one that I really think is security. And not in the sense that everyone's like, well, this cloud is not secure.
Right.
Cloud is really secure. Yeah. It's way more secure than having it in our offices.
Yes.
The problem is that all these different cloud apps all have different security, all different username and passwords. Yeah. So there has yet to be a standard emerge that says, here's the core security. This is going to be my user security and my user provisioning. Right. And I'm going to grant you access to all these other cloud apps. Yeah. But I can control it in one place.
Yeah, don't you think that's what's really holding us back in terms of adoption and really proliferation of the cloud?
Yeah. And we've been hearing it, single sign-on.
Yeah.
And probably a good 15, 20 years that we've been hearing single sign-on. It still hasn't happened.
Is that really all it is, though? I mean, it seems like that's one piece, but there's still the whole, where is the data? Who has it? Is it safe? So it's the doubts of the people, I feel, that's holding this back.
But I think that's an education piece. People need to get educated to understand. If you're working with a good vendor, you're doing your good due diligence.
That's right.
They're doing a way better job than you are.
Yeah. Well, and you and I write about this as much as we can to try to do that educating, to at least expose the audience to what we're seeing going on. And I paint it both ways, and you do too. I appreciate that about you. It's like, look, this is no panacea. The cloud has got really good things, but it is not. It's not as though it's 100% good and desktop or in-house systems are 100% bad. Yep. In fact, is maybe there's a hybrid approach here for some time.
And the hybrid is really what I've been using the most.
Yeah.
I think with my clients, even with my own firm, we use a hybrid approach.
Yeah. So let's just define hybrid. Why don't you just tell me what you mean by hybrid?
Sure. It's where we've got some things in-house that are local within our office or on a laptop. And we've got a bunch of other things that are supporting maybe out in the cloud.
Right.
And so between optimizing what we actually need access to outside, what we need to control or perhaps deeper integrate inside, that's how we're doing hybrid.
Yeah. Good. Thanks for joining today, and I'll see you next time.